everybody. Welcome to Amber and Cass Keeping It Real. I'm Amber,
I am Cass.
and we're going to be talking about working mom versus stay-at-home mom. So if you're a working mom or you're a stay-at-home mom, I'm sure you can relate to, what we're going to be talking about today. I've done both. I've worked and I've done stay-at-home due to COVID, made me a stay-at-home mom. And then Cassandra, I know you've been a stay-at-home mom. So we're just kind of gonna like feed off of each other and kind of, compare and contrast, which one is a little bit more difficult, what challenges we've had, and just get into that. Did you want to add anything to that?
I mean, moms in general, we've already said this before, we are superheroes, but throwing work on top of that, superstars, all the way around, our stars,
Yeah.
5 out of 5. Yeah, we're just gonna talk about, like Amber said, working mom versus stay-at-home mom. I remember you being a first-time mom
Yeah.
and then working. We were in the same department at that time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were in the same department. And I remember you coming to work like at 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
Like your shift was 6 to 2. And I'm just
Mhm.
like, man, like, excuse me, I don't even have a kid. And I'm like zombie vibes over here. I didn't have a kid at that time. It was Grayson, which was 5 years ago,
Yeah.
almost 5 years ago now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have questions.
Yeah. I was tired. Okay.
Yeah.
I was always tired. The good thing was in the beginning when I first had Grayson, I only worked like 3 days. So I had like 3 shifts where I worked 6 to 2, so maybe 3 days out of the week I was like super exhausted, but I wanted to just get it over with. And it really was it worked for our schedule. So if my husband worked later, he worked maybe a 3 o'clock shift, and the 6 to 2 was perfect because then we can just like, switch. And then I didn't really want to have a babysitter. I was kind of like, I didn't have anyone necessarily I had my parents, but I didn't want to just trust a stranger. My mom worked, so she couldn't do like during the week. She could maybe watch them on the weekend, but I just wasn't ready to like hand my baby over to a stranger, and just say like, please keep him safe, So I just only trusted like my husband. And then I also trusted you. Many times I was like, what are you doing?
And it was so convenient because I'm like on your way to work. So
Yeah.
why not,
Can you watch it for a couple hours? And you were like, of course. And he loved going over your house. Oh my God. Yeah. But I would say the struggle and when I was working was the scheduling. So it was just like constantly trying to schedule everything when he wasn't going to school. Once he started going to school, it was a little bit easier because we knew majority of the day he was going to be in school until a certain time, which is perfect because I started working like a 9 to 5 shift. And
Mhm.
so it was like a drop off, pick up. It worked perfect for our schedules, unless I had to work late or something. And then maybe, I would just have to find either Craig or my mom to, to pick him up or drop him off or however that worked. But it definitely, we had like kind of a good flow going once he got to school. So yeah. And then
That's yeah, that was like one of my things was like, you're working, your husband is working, you have this baby, like a baby, like you said, he wasn't in school.
yeah.
You didn't have like a nanny or a babysitter. So that to me is just like like so much pressure, I'm sure, to like, first of all, you're not sleeping when you have a newborn. Like sleep is not a thing,
Yeah.
and you have to be up. I already have anxiety like waking up early. I feel
Yeah.
like I'm gonna miss my alarm. So it's like, you have to wake up super, super early, get yourself ready. I'm sure Grayson woke up sometimes that early with you. So now you have like this newborn that I'm sure wants to breastfeed or like
Mhm.
change his diaper. You have to change his clothes. Like, it's just so much in that
Yeah.
short amount of time that you have to get ready for work. And then that is already exhausting.
Yeah.
Now you have to go do an 8-hour shift, over here at work. And it's
Mhm.
just like, I don't know. To me, to me, that seems harder
Yeah.
than a stay-at-home mom. But being a stay-at-home mom definitely has, hard times. Because like when you're at work, you have a break.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a baby there, you know, crying and like needing you for everything. You can go take your 2 breaks and then your lunch. You know, you can like kind of just like shut the world out for your 30 minutes and kind of just like have your zen peace to yourself
Mm-hmm.
moment. Go outside if you want to. Like there's nothing there that needs you
Yeah.
when you're at work and you can take like a break. Even like the ride there and the ride home, you know, you're alone. You
Yes.
have like nothing, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's still stress in the work environment, yes. But until you have a baby, you don't know the stress of a baby. It's
Mm-hmm.
completely different. There's nothing that can compare to, and it's good stress. It's good and bad stress of having a baby. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
plan on going back to work soon once everything, you know, goes back to our normal life.
Yeah. As much as it can, right?
Yeah. So I'm curious. I mean, Nature's older now. He's going to
Mm-hmm.
be in school, so I don't have to deal with that, you know, morning rush of.
Yeah, it's rough. Yeah, I just was I followed Jen Akin and she had made a post saying like, OMG, I don't know how moms do it. You know, I don't know how moms, especially working moms, single moms, like single dads, like how do you it's rough, you know, and in the beginning especially it's rough, you know, it's just you know, there's just no schedule. They're kind of their sleep schedule is all over the place. So your sleep schedule is all over the place. And you know, and then on top of that to throw in work, I definitely feel like when I would work, the difference between me being at work and then me being at home now is that, like you said, you have that where you can go to work and you can have that like quiet time. You can just sit down, you know, do your job, do the tasks you need to do, go to the bathroom when you want to go to the bathroom, grab a snack when you want to grab a snack. No one's like, you know, when you have a newborn, it's like you barely go to the bathroom, you barely have time to make yourself something because you're either holding them, you're feeding them, you're trying to put them to sleep, they're crying, you're trying to figure out why they're crying. So when you have that little break to go to work, it is a break. It's like this break, this time for you to kind of and almost you become you again, because when you're at home with your kid, you're kind of like there, you know, they're a milkmaid because you're feeding them all the time. You're their chef if you're making food for them. If they're older, you're, you know, taking them to the bathroom. You're, you know, plugging in devices if they need a device. You're their personal assistant. You know, you are there to take care of them and make sure they're okay. But when you're at work, you know, people are asking you questions about yourself. You can have adult conversations. How many adult conversations can you have with your 1 year old or with your 3 year old, with your 5 year old? You know, it's mostly they're going to maybe be telling you about video games and a drawing or their imagination, which is awesome. And you know, I want to foster imagination, but you know, he's not saying, what do you think, mom? Or what what what's new with you, you know? That's not a question
Yeah.
you're gonna get from your kid,
Yeah.
you know. So that time where when you leave and you're just yourself, you're presented as yourself, people are gonna, you know, you're gonna talk about yourself, you're gonna talk to them about them, you're gonna, you know, get these conversations out that you wouldn't necessarily be able to get out at home with your
Like
kids.
your mind is going to be stimulated.
Yes, and in a
Yeah.
different way than like, you know, oh, you have to poop. Okay, let me take you to the bathroom to let you
Yeah.
poop, or you know, like things like that. Or you're hungry. Oh,
Yeah.
you don't want chicken and nuggets? Let me go and see what else we have. Oh, you don't want fruit? Or, you know, it's like you are catering to someone else all day long versus when you leave and someone else is watching your kid, then you can kind of have a little bit of freedom. And just like you said, that drive there, it's like you're in the car by yourself. You can listen to whatever music. No one, you don't have to worry about anyone crying in the back seat. Like, you know, it's just, it's kind of like this little, I don't want to use the word, but it's like a little bit of an escape. You're getting like a little retreat from your homeland for a few hours and then you come back. So for me, just comparing both of them, I think that they both have their challenges. You know, going to work has its challenge because you do have to figure out who's going to watch your kid. Like, do you have everything set up? If you're breastfeeding, you have to pump a whole bunch of milk, have bottles ready. If you're formula feeding, you have to make sure whoever's watching your kid knows how to make the formula and, you know, do all those things. So you have, there's things that you have to do. So maybe you have to wake up even earlier than you normally would and, you know, get everything ready, you know, maybe get their clothes ready, change their diaper before you leave. I don't know. There's a lot of things you have to do before. And then if someone's going to leave it, or if you're even people who don't keep their kid at home, who take their kid somewhere else, I'm so grateful that whenever I would leave for work, I left my house and I was like, bye, rather than the people who are like, they have to get themselves ready and they have to get their baby ready and then leave, drop them off, have all the supplies that they necessarily would have at home now in a bag and take it to someone else's house. So I was grateful for whenever my mom or Craig, obviously, they'd be here and I didn't have to like take anything and pack any bags or anything like that. But I definitely think that part of it. And then, you miss them, even though I said it's a little bit of that retreat, you still miss your kid, when you're at work and you wonder if they're crawling or if they're having that first laugh or they're, what are they doing? You're just like, you want to be a part of every milestone. For me, I wanted to be a part of everything. So I didn't want him to do anything before I was there. I wanted to be there to see the rollover and to see the crawl, and, the first steps, So that part is a little hard because if you're working and if you're working full time, you might miss out on some of those things. So that part is hard. But I definitely think on the stay-at-home front, it's harder mentally because, you don't, maybe unless your baby takes a nap, and even when they take a nap, you're kind of like, okay, now I need to either make myself something to eat. If you had laundry to do, if you had to clean up whatever mess the baby made, before they went to sleep. So it's not really just like you just sit on the couch, like throw your hands up and, have like a relaxing time at the spa. You're kind of now doing whatever whatever you weren't doing when you were maybe holding them or taking care of them, now you have to tend to it. The dishes are going to pile up, what I mean, things like that. So, and just mentally having to have someone kind of attached to you and you always tending to someone else is hard. So I definitely feel like, in my opinion, it's harder to stay at home.
It's like, now that you see both, because like whenever you tell somebody, oh, I stay at home with my kid, they're like, oh my God, you're so lucky, you're good, like, oh, that sounds so awesome, which it is. It's all of those things, we're lucky, we're blessed. It is awesome to not, like you said, miss a milestone. Your kids need you, at the end of the day. It's like, you are mom or you are dad, like that's like the best love that they can get,
Yep.
So all of those things are great, but there are those times where it's just like, man, like I could just use a car ride somewhere by myself, like use an hour or two, somewhere else, or like even when they are like little babies, they do sleep a lot, but it's still exhausting because it's like, yeah, they're napping, but you don't know how long they're gonna nap. So you don't know, like, there's like this anxiety behind it of like, okay, like what can I get done right now? You know what I mean? And it's like, you don't want to start something and then they wake up and it's like, for me, when I start something, it's like, I want it done. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm doing laundry, I want to do it, washer, dryer, fold, put away. You know what I mean? Like, so like there's this weird built up anxiety of when are they going to wake up? So it's like, then you have to like choose what task you're going to do during that specific nap time. Does that make sense?
It does. I did it the other day with the shower. I was like, oh, I just put him down for a nap. He would sleep for 10 minutes. He usually sleeps at least an hour most of the time. And so I was like, okay, I could jump in the shower. No. I was in the shower and I heard the crying.
Exactly. Exactly. And then it's like you said, the mental aspect of it too. It's just like, you kind of feel like you're just a mom for so long. Well, at least for me, my experience, I felt, because I don't have like a babysitter and nanny family out here. It's just me and Jerry. You know that.
Yeah.
I mean, you have watched him sometimes for us to like go out and have dinner, which I'm so grateful for.
Oh, I love him. I'll watch nature anytime.
Now that they're older, they can like, play together more too.
Yeah.
But yeah, you kind of just like get in this like, oh, like what am I gonna do for myself today? And it's hard because it's like, if you don't have that help and you're just there alone, it could get to you mentally, like you said. But I mean, I'm very, very grateful that I had this opportunity to stay home with nature. It was supposed to be for the first 2 years, but you know, the pandemic happened. So I'm not going back to work now. But like I said, in the future, I do plan on going back to work. But yeah, I'm very, very grateful that I had the opportunity to stay home with him.
Mhm.
But the point of this video, I think, is to let people know both are hard. You know,
Mhm.
it's not just the working moms or the stay at home moms. You know, both are very exhausting mentally, physically. You know, just being a mom in general is hard.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah,
No,
it's
I love that you
awesome. It's
said
rewarding.
it
It's
is
rewarding.
rewarding. Yeah. And I love that you said somebody said to you, wow, you're so lucky. Like, oh my God, that's, you kind of have it a little easier. You get to stay at home. And you didn't negate that. You didn't say like, oh, I'm blessed. Like I'm definitely blessed to be able to stay at
Mhm.
home. But
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that it's easier or that it's like, that doesn't necessarily they don't kind of go together. It's more like you still can be blessed and be a stay-at-home mom and get to see all the milestones, but at the same time you're taking on a lot more than the person that just kind of says okay bye and then gets to do whatever they want for that 8 hours, and
A
you know
freedom thing.
yes,
It's when you're a stay-at-home mom, you have like, if like me, like with nobody here, nobody to help,
yeah.
it's zero freedom.
Hmm.
Like you lose almost all of your freedom for that time period until, you know, Jerry comes home, then I can like, you know, do whatever I want. But with his business, it's like most of the time when he was working like at an office or like studios were open and stuff like that, it's like he has to be in those places all day, sometimes running into, you know, very, very late in the night. So it was like, you know, I didn't necessarily, I don't have that like 9 to 5
Hmm.
husband, which is fine. That's great. Like he's great at what he does and it's amazing.
Yeah.
But I'm talking from my point of view. It was
Hmm.
like all day, all night sometimes. So it got really, really hard. But it's getting easier now. You know, he's almost 3 and I can like take him excuse me, I can take him places now, you know, and not have to like worry so much.
Hmm.
You know, like
Yeah.
we went to lunch the other day and he was so good. He sat in his
Aw.
chair the whole time, you know, ate his food, like let me eat my food. It was good and it was nice to have that, you know, like grown up time with him.
Yeah, he's growing
Okay.
up, he stays in the chair. Oh, that is so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really sweet.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure everyone that's watching, they can relate to, or the moms that are watching, the dads that are watching, parents in general that are watching, can relate to either having to work or stay at home. We would love to get your feedback in the comments. What do you think? Have you experienced both? Which, what's hard for you? What's easier for you? And oh, another thing, staying at home or working from home, I'm sure
Oh,
that's like at another level. Having to work from home and having your kid.
yeah.
That reminds me of all those videos where like the people are, so serious in a meeting and then their kids are like popping in and out, busting through the door.
That happens to Jerry a lot on Zoom. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry.
I've definitely been in some Zooms where like all of a sudden there's like some banging on the door and someone has to mute because it's like their kid trying to bang on the door to get in. So, we love our kids. We love our kids, but they're a lot. So
Yeah.
yeah, if you leave us any comments or questions, and we love to just interact with you and learn more about you guys. And but we thank you so much for watching our video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.